Greetings and welcome to Mount Olympus. I am Hercules Invictus, and today on Hercules and the Space Gods, I am here with my band of researchers who will take us into the dark and sometimes light world of the Archons. We have with us Tim Swartz, the one, the only.
Hi,
We
Hercules. Thanks for having me on today.
have Paul Dale Roberts.
Hey, Hercules. Nice to be here.
Nice to have you here. We have Marc Brinkerhoff and maybe Phyllis.
It's just nice.
We have Setna of Khemet.
Hello, all.
And we have Michael Dunkin and maybe Diane.
Yes, Diane's with me. Thank you, Hercules, and hello, everyone.
Hello, how are you?
Great, thanks.
As we normally do with Tim Swartz. And Tim Swartz will give us an overview of the Archons.
Okay, well, thank you, Hercules, and it's always a pleasure being with you all on these Sunday meetings. And I'm going to give a little bit of an overview on the Archons and the mythology surrounding them, and possibly where these originated from. Now, I think that a lot of people, if they're familiar with the Gnostic Gospels, this was probably their first introduction to words like the demiurge and Sophia and the Archons. But if you look back into the past, even further back, because the Gnostic Gospels arose in the 1st and 2nd century Common Era, and was considered probably one of the the first schisms of Christianity. Some people may have, a lot of people are of the opinion that Gnosticism was a heresy of Christianity. But, this was a time when you had a lot of different ideas and a lot of writings taking place and spreading all across the known world at the time. But with the Archons, if you can go back as far as ancient Mesopotamia and find descriptions that sound suspiciously like the Archons and other ideas that were taken on by the Gnostic Christians. Again, like I said, around the 1st century. But with the Gnostic Gospels, they presented a rather unique idea that the God of the Old Testament, Yahweh, Jehovah, the bearded guy in the sky that persists even today with us, was not the ultimate creator of the universe. Instead, it was referred to as the demiurge, which was the creator of the material world with the earth, and that it was. Some have actually referred to it as like the insane god, definitely the jealous god, and the Archons were really almost like its angels. They were associated at the time with what was called the 7 planets. And that's come down to us today as the 7 astral planes of reality. And in fact, the Gnostic Christians believed that when you died, you had to pass through these 7 different levels, and each one of the Archons would present a question to you. And if you weren't Gnostic enough, you would fail and have to go back to the material plane. And that's one of the main tenets, is that they were the governing force of the material world. And according to the Gnostic Gospels, the material world was evil. All right. You wanted to find the quickest way possible, short of suicide, to get away from the material world and out into the cosmic in order to align yourself with the ultimate source of creation, and definitely not the demiurge. So some people think, in fact, that our later mythologies of the fallen angels were based on the Archons. The Archons were the guys who basically did all of the bad things. They were the hitmen, so to speak, of the cosmic forces that were there to keep us down, to keep us in material reality, and to never ascend any higher than the material world, than reality. Now, Gnosticism was pretty much stamped out by the mid second century. The church took a dim view of Gnosticism and really took it away. And it really, if it wasn't for the writings and scrolls that were found in Nag, and I'm not going to pronounce this right, Nag Hammadi, I think is the term, we wouldn't know anything about the Gnostic Gospels except for just a few writings, generally negative, that was written down by the church about this heresy. And if you're interested in a good book about this, I don't know if this is going to show up or not. Probably there it is. The Gnostic Gospels, excellent book by Elaine Pagels, I think, or Pagels is how you pronounce it. And, you know, it's an excellent book. The interesting thing about the Archons is that they have remained with us today in UFO mythology. There has been a number of people who have written about their ideas that the gray aliens, you know, the little gray guys with the big eyes, are also known as the Watchers, which came from the Old Testament. Taking that a little further, the Watchers supposedly were the Archon, and that this whole aspect of the UFO mythology, the little grays, that they are not here to help us, kind of like the Space Brothers supposedly, you know, were, that the grays are part of this attempt to keep us down from truly understanding that we are co-creators with that ultimate creator of the universe, not the demiurge, but the ultimate creator of the universe. And that different aspects of the UFO phenomena, the negative ones, are this continued effort by these ancient deities, gods, however you'd want to call them, to keep us in our place. And that the attention given to these negative aspects of the UFO phenomena is simply feeding this idea of materialism, that we are nothing more than dirt, dust, whatever, and that when you die, that's it. You go back to the ground, and then there's nothing more. When instead, there are aspects of the UFO phenomena that teach that there is a lighter side, you know, the good, the positive of this, but we have to avoid the Archons, the Watchers, and look beyond that material aspect, the materialism aspect of our lives. We're more than just our brains. There is another part of us that connects with the universe, but the Archons, the demiurge, the jealous God, wants us to avoid that, not to see it, to keep us blind. And Hercules, I think my time is getting close to running out here, so I'm going to finish up with that. And hopefully, if there's some points that I missed in this presentation, that our other wonderful guests will be able to fill everybody in on that.
Thank you very much, Tim. I'm going to add that Archon, like Angel, which we've talked about, and Daemon, meant something else originally. They didn't mean the same thing that we believe them to mean now. And just like Daemon means that something or someone in between, rather than being rooted in one place. And angel or angelos or malak in the Hebrew, that just means a messenger. It could be a terrestrial messenger as well as a supernatural messenger. And archon just means a boss. So
Right.
local leader was the archondas. It's still the same in modern Greek. And archon implies somebody who comes above the rest. So it's interesting to see how our concepts have changed and these words have changed over the years. But that was an excellent introduction. Thank you so very much.
Yeah, I wanted to also add to that our modern word archive stems from the
Yes.
very same source as archons, like you just said. So thanks, Hercules.
And now we'll go to Paul, who will take us further into the labyrinth.
The subject of archons is just fascinating. And it takes me back to one of my original cases in which a family was tormented by a demon. And I'll tell you how it led on to an archon. This family was very religious. They would promote their church around the neighborhood and everything else. They were always trying to get people to go to their church. And all of a sudden, they started having haunting activities at the house. There was knockings on the walls and all types of stuff. When things got intense was when the wife, she heard her husband on the phone talking to another woman. And she comes down the stairs and he's dead asleep. But she thinks he's faking it, and she slaps him a couple times. And he says, "Hey, why are you slapping me? I was sleeping. What's going on here?" And she says, "You were talking to another woman." He goes, "No, I wasn't." And that was when they realized they had a problem, that the house was haunted, and this demon was actually mimicking her husband talking to a woman. And that's where, you have the archons that are saying that they're deceivers. Well, this is a demon that was very much a deceiver. So she called us. We came down to do the investigation. And one of the investigators had a spirit box. And a spirit box actually kind of grabs different radio waves and makes out certain words. And one of the things that he asked the demon was, "Who are you? What are you?" And it said, "Archon." So was it really, that case was always very fascinated with, I was very fascinated with it, because was it actually an Archon trying to disrupt that family? And Archons, I mean, in India, they're known as jinn, and Christians know them as demons. So, and they're here to like manipulate mankind. They want to keep us ignorant. They want to bring us down, like Tim was talking about. They want to keep us down. They don't want us to grow and become something better. They distort reality. They govern the material world. They're our jailers, and they want to keep us in spiritual blindness. And I believe that, well, I do a lot of demon cases, and I believe a lot of the demon cases, the real ones, where it's not just a mental issue, are something with the archons. The archons are demons. And that's basically my experience with the archon phenomenon.
Thank you. So that takes us in that direction with the demons. If he was saying he was an Archon and demons are known to speak all languages, he might have been just telling you he's the boss. If he claimed to be an Archon, he might be saying, "I'm the boss here." I don't know. I wasn't there, but okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. And that's from your private investigation too. So I really appreciate you sharing it with us here.
And David Icke, he has a whole thing about archons, and basically what he's saying too is that they are demons. They're interdimensional type beings. I don't believe they're extraterrestrial unless you're talking about like fallen angels that come from heavens to earth. They weren't born on this earth, so they're not terrestrial. So they either came from another dimension or they came from another planet. So it's very interesting. But they do seem like they want to keep us down.
That was very much the Gnostic, both the pre-Christian Gnostics and the Christian Gnostics. That was very much their point of view. The Neoplatonists did not see the world, for instance, as a evil place. They saw it as a wonderful place, and they saw the co-creator gods as beneficial. So even though they were still archons, they weren't bad. The evil connotations for archon, just like the evil connotations for the word demon, weren't there in some of the ancient writings. But both of you have pointed out that the mythology is very interesting. There was a hodgepodge of ancient Near Eastern, biblical, Greek, Egyptian. There were like with Sophia, for instance, that means wisdom in Greek, and she was flying around throughout the cosmos of the Gnostic archons and performing miracles or being thwarted from performing miracles and so forth. So it's fascinating. Now I'm going to go to Marc and Phyllis next. Now, Marc, in your experiences, the creator is still very much alive and well, and Sananda is very much alive and well and interactive with humanity. So I imagine that they're not evil forces seeking to mislead us in your experience.
In my experience, I guess you'd say, where I come from, I'm not located to this planet and this dense reality that we're in, the physical, spiritual reality, if you want to call it. But this is the densest form of the physical densities. And these beings, we're calling archons, demons, whatever you want to call them, they have many names. They're located on the first plane, like we're on right now, this dense level. They're not located in the heaven levels, the high heavens. There's no evil up there in any kind. There's only on this density right here, and what we call the second plane. And I'm not talking about Earth books that people have read or made. I've not read them. I'm talking about from where I've come from. I come from a high plane called 12th plane and beyond. We don't have evil up there. And I came in to try to bring some information to people to help them locate and understand who the creator is in their heart as well. So it's how we see them and what we feel and what we're focused to. If you're into demonic chasing or evil spirits, I've met some, I've seen them. I've gone into haunted house places and cleansed them. So they back off. I've actually met the one we call Satan. So they back off when you speak the truth of Creator, who is with us in our heart. That whole thing about the spark is with us, that spark is what makes your heart beat. So this is infinite Creator. And when I came in, I had to connect to the body, and I'm conscious from before I came here. So this is how I understand it. I've not had evil beings harass me too much. They just harass me to keep me down from doing the work I'm supposed to do. But I've never been attacked. Although I know people who have been, like alcoholics and things, and I've seen them around people and how they attack people and what they do. So when we talked about with Paul, that was a really great experience to speak about, to prove how these beings work. And they'll use names just like that, Archon or whatever, and they could still be tricking, still be faking us out, because that's their job, to fake everybody out. But when they have power like that to mimic voices, which I've heard too in other places in England, they have more strength with them, more other beings, let's say, with them too. But if they're that powerful to create the voices and mimic people that well, those are the types that can actually do poltergeist activity too, if they want open doors and things like that. throw a knife. That's when they get dangerous. And that's when you got to call people in to get them out of the house. But I've never, the beings that we're calling archons to me are negative beings, or tricksters, or people want to call them fallen. They're all that to me. And we treat them the same way on the planes we come through to the different planes. The Venusians come here, they won't come in without doing a special cleansing of the holy fire to surround them. So they know if they step on this physical planet, you could be harassed. So we know that. We all know that. So we're with the I'm with the groups that are with the benevolent space people. We're been here for years, millions of years. So if I was in one of the ships that was with the pillars that brought Moses to Red Sea. And I told my mom that when I was a little kid. So I said, if you were on the ground looking up, I was in the ship on the left, which looked like a big cloud. And we had the pillars of light and flame and all that. So that's a true story. And when they went through the sea, a lot of people were killed, I know, and horses and everything. But what they did find was the cemented sand around the edges with the footprints of the people going in, because of the pillars of fire created such a heat that the creator sent through that it created a cementing or glass effect that proved for the people in the future that this happened, and they found that. But this is what's on this planet. This is not just on this planet, it's on other planets in the universes on this dense level. So we're trying to get off these planets, and they're trying to contain people, these beings we call the tricksters. They're trying to keep the humans or the souls harassed, confused, distracted, so they can't even call out to Creator, who they may not even believe exists, but it does. So that's what their job is, as far as we've understood, that they're here to do that kind of thing to people. But also for us, we're the souls, we're warriors. We come in. You come in to help. You came in. So you have the power too to fight them, but you just have to believe and know. With Infinite Creator, you have the strength to conquer these beings. You just can't doubt. You have to believe and trust in total in your heart and soul.
One
And
of the issues that came up with the Gnostics, which is what caused them to come up with these ideas, was the very fact that this plane that we're on is full of negative spirits, negative entities, negative people.
Mhm.
So they surmise that the creator, the demiurge of this plane, must also be deceptive and dark and negative and evil. And they tried to address the question, why are we here in this place where there's so much evil? And
Yes.
that's what they're striving to answer.
I know,
answer-
from my perspectives, I cannot buy into all this. The demiurge is probably satanic or Lucifer, if you want to give them all names. And yeah, they're here and they've been cast here. This is where they were cast, to this density, this level. So we come in as nice, innocent souls to try to help. And they're out to get us. The more light they see around you, the more they surround you, the more they bring around you. So I'm only coming from another place, and that how I see how they work here, and you can conquer them. They just got to recognize this: the energy of the Creator, the Spirit of God is within everyone. All Creator is within us in that way. And when they know that, we trust in that, and we know that, they back off. The Holy Spirit, if we want to call it, that energy of the Creator is within us, as long as you trust and know who Creator is, and all that. Just amazing. They back off. As soon as they see that child of God or that soul is ready to fight and knows what they're talking about and knows that they're not the light, they back off. They totally back off. And so people have to learn that discernment and understanding when they're being tricked, because they'll trick people so well. And we all know that. They make you think that they're the good guys, but they're not. That's why I don't channel. I don't do any of that, because I know they're all around people. I've seen channelers and I've seen what's around them, and they're not channeling who they say they are. So I try to tell people, watch out. If you don't know how to discern and you don't know how to protect yourself, back way away.
So how does one know? Because again, this was what the ancient Gnostics faced, both the pre-Christian ones, the Christian ones, the pagan ones. Was that, how do you know if you're being deceived? because the information we're getting from the other side is contradictory. And without the discernment that comes from actually remembering or being attuned to the spiritual realms, everything can't be right. So how do you build that discernment? How do you know that what you're listening to is actually the truth?
For me, it's a different way of perceiving, of understanding. I don't know how an average person discerns, because I've seen so much hell go on that I don't know if they're discerning properly at all. I've actually said that to people who are friends. I said, you're not hearing correctly, or you're not discerning correctly for this to have occurred like this to you, and now you're having a problem. So there's something they're missing, or they want to believe, maybe. Usually your instincts, or your, I'm going to say your inner soul, your inner self, maybe your over self, knows when there's being lied to. And we know, I've worked with reverse speech. That's a whole different thing. I've studied it forever, a long time. Reverse speech, if a person, for an average person, if another person is talking to them, they're lying, making up a story, and they've just met them for the first time, the person might feel, I don't understand this. Maybe I don't want to be friends with this person. Because in reverse speech, whatever that person is saying to them in forward speech, their subconscious is hearing the true speech for the reverse speech, which is from the subconscious of that soul talking to them. And you hear positive when reverse speeching. So your soul discerns that. That's why if you get something in your gut, that vibe people feel in their stomach, upsetness or a tension, that's part of the discernment of the physical body, understanding something's fishy here. I don't think I get it. So that's how one way we discern. And even if you walk by a person somewhere and their aura is negative, you will sense it and feel, let me stay away from that person. But they don't know why. They just feel, let me get away. And that happens a lot here in New York City because you're walking by a lot of people, and I spot them a block away, and I'll just go to the other side somewhere to get out of their way. Reverse speech is fascinating, and I can hear in the soul level, according to the reverse speech people I've talked to in California. This is 1997, and they said, you're hearing something normally we don't hear. There's 3 levels they hear, but you're hearing something else. I said, I'm hearing oversouls talking back and forth to each other as conversations. So, and calling them by their soul names. So that's happened to me. But if I point it out on the reverse speech and I replay it for you to hear, you will hear it finally. If I slow it down enough, you'll hear the speech. So that's how souls here on this density are hearing things and discerning intuitively, because they don't know what they're feeling, but they're sensing something's off. And when a soul is lying to another soul, even if they're talking nice about all kinds of great things we're going to do for you, your intuition is saying, wait a minute, something's fishy here, because they're hearing in the speech the reverse in their subconscious of what's really being said by that soul's heart and what they feel.
Thank you, Mark. Lots of information, always a lot to digest and think about. Thank you so very much.
Okay, brother.
And Phyllis, we missed your commentary.
No, I'm just agreeing with everything Mark is
See
saying.
over here.
Okay, awesome. We're going to go next to Setna of Khemet. The Archons in the Middle Eastern, Near Eastern literature, we have a sharper image of them. And in quote unquote pagan religions, the old religions, the mythic religions, the gods did have a administrative function. So they would be technically Archons. They also have the system of the 7 planets, which, as Tim pointed out, is related to the Archons, and so forth. How were they viewed in ancient Egypt, these governing spirits?
They're called nomarchs, and they have an earthly, I guess, co-agent, or what would you call it? An earthly counterpart, which would be a mayor or a governor of a particular province. Well, the nomarchs in the astral plane are the same way, and they're also governing an area called the Arites, which are the night and day energies. They are a lesser being, like I guess in Greece you'd call them demigods or demigoddesses, and they answer to first Osiris, the Lord of the underworld, the Lord of the after. I don't like that term. I call him the Lord of the afterworld, not underworld. That's a Greek thing. They because where they are is beautiful, a beautiful place.
Everything's a Greek thing from a Greek's point of view, but thank
From
you.
your big fat Greek wedding on. Yes, I know. There's always a Greek word for it. In any case, we have one light source, and its name is Kansu or Kemsu, or you can also call him Atum. It is a being that is no description in human language at all. It's beyond the beyond. Um, it's not male, it's not female, it's all things. And we believe that all of the energies in the universe answer to this energy that is positive. And in the Arites are questioners. They're they call the devil an adversary, I think, in the Bible, actually in the Talmud, the adversary, the questioner. Well, there are 12 Arites which actually will question your soul on negative things, trying to tempt you, trying to confuse you, to irritate you. And then there are light energy workers on the other side that will protect you and nurture you and give you knowledge and help you through your life, so that when you pass on into the next dimension, that you're going to be able to pass through more easily. I'm sure that this works with many other cultures too. I'm looking at it from the Kemetic or the Egyptian point of view, how we see things. And I say we because it's not changed. It hasn't changed in thousands and thousands of years. Um, People have moved on to different traditions as well. Unfortunately for me, I don't want to go any further than the Nile. It's where I belong and my energies resonate. So I say things from that point of view with pride, actually. I know where my soul began, where its path energy began. And so that's what I try to help people with from my point of view. And as far as ghosts and things, I grew up with a young man. His name was Frank Cohen. He died about 12 years before my parents bought the house we lived in. And he was frankly a pain in the neck. He was a very precocious child until we did something called the necromancy of intelligence. And his grandmother yelled, Frankie, and I heard Grammy, and there was a huge white light, and he vanished. So I saw that energy. He was not evil or anything. He was just mischievous. He was a little boy, and I came to understand that because I was a little boy. And when I became an older teenager, we learned through the group I worked with how to make him go home, and he did. And so that was a wonderful way to, see where things were. It was also the beginning of my own abilities as a psychic and a medium, because when you experience that as a child and you're learning how to deal with that kind of energy, um, you're able to help other people that way. And I've been doing it all my life, and I've been around a long time now. So I can say I do know not how to battle with those things, but how to understand them, and how to teach other people how to deal with them in a positive way, not to have them fight with it or argue with it or feel or fear it. Those energies are there. They're like us. They're just, part of another dimension at this moment in time. And so that's something we have to understand. A lot of people these days don't understand religious things. They're too busy with their noses in their phones or in their laptops or things. They're not seeing the world in the dimensions that it's in. And it's not just the physical plane. Marc will attest to that. There are so many other planes that we are involved in that we need to, know more about. And so that's part of my job as a high priest, a medium, and a psychic, to make people see, that we're not alone in the universe and that we didn't create this universe, that we're part of a much larger community, which is infinite as far as I'm concerned.
Hey, thank you so very much, Setna. As always, you've added an extra ancient dimension to the topic that we're looking at.
As an ancient dimension myself, thank you.
I count myself in that number. I'm an ancient as well. And last but certainly not least, we're going to go to Michael and Diane Dunkin. I want to welcome them back. They once were very much a part of these shows, and now they've come back, and hopefully they'll be contributing whenever they're free. Greetings and welcome, Michael and Diane.
Well, hi there, Hercules. It's great to be back. And can you hear me all right?
I can hear you perfectly.
Good, good. Well, and hello everyone. It's good to be with you. We're very excited to be here tonight. It's been a while since we've been on the radio talking about our philosophy and our way of life and our lifestyle and things like that.
Well, today
And what a great
today we're going to talk about Archons.
yes.
You'll be
And
on
what
other shows when we'll talk about all those things.
Yes, and what a great topic, and it's perfect for us because we live with Archons daily and interact with them, and they're a part of our lives. But my approach this evening is that the Archons are beneficent, and I'm going to kind of spell that out according to the Urantia book. We've been a part of the Urantia book community for a while, since 2011. We are also theosophists. We started out together studying theosophy. We're members of the American section of the Theosophical Society. We're also Rosicrucians, and we're also members of Maitreya Great Tao, which is a spiritual tradition that's kind of it's a blending of Confucianism, Taoism, and Buddhism. It's kind of a folk religion that came out of China originally and went to Taiwan and had kind of a renaissance in the 1930s with the sun and the moon. But since 2011, we've been really studying the Urantia book, and we've become a part of their community. I'm a past president of the Los Angeles Society for Urantia book. The Urantia book was published in 1955 by the Urantia Foundation, and it's definitely a new age book. It they kind of do the same thing that Blavatsky was seeking to accomplish in her secret doctrine, the blending of philosophy, religion, and science. And as far as the Archons go, I think maybe we're talking about beneficent celestial beings who are helping us in our ascension career. According to the Urantia book, which is kind of couched a little bit in Christianity, there's a Trinity. There's a Trinity concept, and the Trinity, they create, I guess, or crystallize infinite reality into 7 super universes. And each one of these super universes, we happen to be, according to the Urantia book, we happen to be in the 7th super universe, the one that's kind of on the lowest end of the ascension spectrum within evolving deity. But our super universe has a number of local universes, and each of these local universes has a creator who created that local universe, and it's about 10 million inhabitable planets are in a local universe. And our local universe has been created and is administered by Michael of Nebadon. And according to the Urantia book, Michael incarnated as Jesus. Now, Michael of Nebadon has a co-creator who is like, she's like a personalization of the third person of the Trinity, the infinite spirit. So together, the local universe father or creator son, or in this case, Michael of Nebadon, I guess our local universe is called Nebadon, with her, they create a local universe. And after they create a local universe, they create their first offspring, so to speak, is a being who is kind of like the executive director of the 10 million inhabitable planets in the local universe. Well, since since being friends with Hercules and talking to Hercules a lot and being on his shows, we have kind of made a parallel discovery with the Urantia book and the Greek pantheon. We think that our local universe father, Michael of Nebadon, is the same being or entity as Zeus. And we feel like his consort or his co-sovereign of the local universe mother spirit, is Hera. And the firstborn of Zeus and Hera is the executive director of our local universe, whose name is Gabriel, but in the Greek he is Hephaestus. So just to kind of finish up the cosmic hierarchy for how how we see, maybe how we make a parallel between the Archons and local universe creatorship and administration, the local universe father and local universe mother, they create a father Melchizedek. After they create a father Melchizedek, well, they create Gabriel or Hephaestus first. He's called the bright and morning star. And then the father Melchizedek works with the local universe father and the local universe mother to create the Melchizedeks. And I just wanted to read something really quickly from the Urantia book, from paper 35, about the Melchizedeks, because I think it's very interesting it'll be interesting to hear how the Melchizedeks interact directly with the beings who are ascending, especially the mortals who are ascending within the local universe scheme. So here's paper 35, and it says, the Melchizedek sons are the first order of divine sons to approach sufficiently near the lower creature life to be able to function directly in the ministry of mortal uplift. So we have Gabriel, the father Melchizedek, the Melchizedeks. Then the father and the mother create Verondadek sons, who are like rulers and administrators of a constellation. And there are about 100,000 worlds within a constellation. And then they also create Lananandek sons, who are the rulers of local systems. And there are 1,000 inhabitable planets in a local system. And then within the local universe scheme of ascension for mortals and for celestial beings or archons to help the mortals ascend, we have beings like archangels, seraphim, brilliant evening stars, cherubim, life carriers, and so on. So I feel like according to the Urantia book, there's a relationship between celestial beings who descend, possibly, and mortal beings who are ascending. So they meet each other. And it's interesting because within the local universe scheme, or what is also called within the deity supreme, the deity being an evolutionary deity, that we help each other. The gods, the angels, the celestials help the ascending beings in kind of a give and take relationship. So, and then I just wanted to say one other thing here about the possibility of the archons being maybe a little bit negative or maybe influencing us a little bit. I think number one, according to Theosophy and the Urantia book, we are constantly struggling against our lower nature to reach higher. So there could be that. But we also have studied Swedenborg in the past, Swedenborg. And of course, Swedenborg says that the celestial hierarchy or celestial administration or cosmic administration keep hell and heaven balanced in order to keep us in freedom. And that freedom is that we have the choice to either love the things of hell or love the things of heaven. And do you think I could give Diane a couple minutes here, Hercules? She wants to
Yes.
say something.
Thank you so
Okay.
much, Michael. Yeah, let's give that a couple minutes, then we'll start wrapping up with how everyone can be contacted and what's new and exciting on the horizon. Hi, Diane.
Yes. Hi, Hercules. It's wonderful to talk to you.
Same.
I just wanted to mention just one thing that has been new in our household as of October the 1st. October the 1st, I had contact with a new being. I didn't know who he was. Of course, you, Hercules, have known our history of being with Zeus and Hera and all of the gods and Gabriel and so forth. But this was something different. And the method of contact was different. It was with blue lights, which I'd had before, but these were different. And I asked, is that a different being? And the being said yes, that he was a watcher, that he was on the sun working. He said that he had a home with a consort on Neptune, but he was watching us, and hopefully that we could eventually gain perspective on how to become in a higher plane someday, maybe after we leave this earth or whatever. But he said that he would be coming with 5 angels, a total of 5. One would be himself, Azure Blue was his nickname, and his consort, Azurelina, and they would be coming to live with us for a period of 4 years. He would also be bringing another angel that he called Kaiser, and he came on December 3rd with Lila, his consort, and she was in a Blue Ridge mountain area. In other words, they said Kaiser was a king, and he had 400 angels under him that were in the Blue Ridge Mountains here in America. So that was rather interesting to hear. There also is
Kaiser
one
means
more.
Caesar.
Pardon me?
Kaiser.
What?
Kaiser means Caesar. It's
Oh, yes,
Germanic,
yes. Actually, Zeus, he wanted us to call him a personal name of Caesar when we first contacted him back in 2013. So, yes, I do understand that. So this has been something that is altogether different. There is a 5th angel living with us also, whose name is Blazing. And he actually spoke to me. He said, his name is Blazing. I asked the 5th angel. And Michael, my Michael, is to help him. He actually is a spiritual part of a gentleman that's just been working with my Michael, and to help him because they want him to be on a better path with God. So this is something that's going on new. We've talked about the ceremony on April 13th, 2026 that we are going to be having with Zeus and Gabriel and Hestia, who's in charge of the Blue Azure Angels. And so this is something new that we're working toward. We have that date, April 13th, and we're hoping that something very spectacular will happen. So anyway, I just wanted to let everyone know that the Watchers are coming to our planet. I'm sure all of you on this panel know that, but we had not. This is something different for us. So just to wish you well, and we'll see what happens in the future. And thank you for letting me speak tonight.
Thank you,
Thank
Diane. I might have mentioned to you and Michael, I don't recall in our recent conversation, the color blue and blue light and blue beings have been popping up throughout my universe. So I'm doing a series of special shows, and I'll be talking to everybody who's had experiences with blue lights and entities from these blue lights and their intentions. So I guess I will ask Marc and Setna if you have anything you'd like to share, and I'll invite you to be on that series as well.
I could. I would be honored to be there with you.
Awesome. I'd be honored to have you. You're awesome, Marc.
Everyone here is awesome.
That's very true. Setna, how about you?
As someone who works always with blue cobalt energy.
Oh, yes.
I would be delighted to work with you.
Awesome. Let's see if we
I,
can. get
this is
resolved.
something I've been doing a long time.
I know that's
And-
what I thought of asking you. And Tim, who knows a little of everything, is there anything you could think of in your long years of exploration about blue lights and especially as related to the celestial spheres?
Well, I'm sure there is, but it doesn't come to it doesn't come to mind at the moment, Hercules. You'll have to forgive me on that, but yeah, I would need to think about that for a little bit. I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is we just recently had a discussion about the Pascagoula UFO abduction
Mhm.
incident,
Yep.
and this wasn't widely reported, but when the craft, whatever it was, first set down in front of the two fishermen, it was blue in color. And then other people in the area reported seeing blue UFOs. So I mean, that's just the first thing that came to my mind. Probably has nothing to do, with the subject. But
But
I thought I'd throw that out
it
there.
might hold the key to the entire topic. So
Could be, yeah,
it's worth
could be.
looking
They work with a lot of blue light, light
Mhm.
blue. Yeah,
Yeah.
because of the spaceships. We've seen them.
So I look forward to everybody's feedback. I wish we had more time today to go into this because I just started building on this question. And Paul, how about you? Can you think of anything in your many years of investigation and research that includes blue lights?
Yeah, and in some of our investigations, we take pictures of orbs, and orbs can be almost anything. It could be skin flakes, could be dust, could be light refractions, it could be dewdrops, dust, everything else. You name it, it could be that. But if we can show that it has intelligent movement, then we can deem it as paranormal. And we've had a case where a ghost named Emily would actually drain the energy from the occupants. So one of my investigators says, Paul, I need to sit down. I feel drained. I said, oh my God, I think Emily's doing that to you. And I said, can I take a picture of you? I said, Emily, listen, if you're listening to me, kiss him on the lips. So I snap a picture. Two other investigators snap a photo, and there's an orb on his mouth. It showed intelligent energy. That orb was blue in color. And then I said, Emily, I said, if you're still listening to me, sit on his lap. The orb is now hovering over his lap. And what's kind of interesting is like the morpholites. Some of the morpholites that people see off in the distance, and every time they run up to those lights, they go out further. They can't ever catch up to them. But some of those morpholites are blue in color. So what does it all mean? And taking it a little bit further, we actually investigated the site of the I-5 Strangler, aka Roger Kibbe, off of I-5 in Sutterville. That is where he took a woman and he kidnapped her, opened up the glove compartment, pulled out a pair of scissors, and started snipping at her dress. Then he wound up strangling her. That's why they call him the I-5 Strangler. We were taking a lot of pictures there. And over the Sacramento River, where he dumped her body, was a black orb that was hovering over the river. So that tells me that the colors in orbs probably represent something. Blue, something calm, peaceful, because it's blue. Black, something depressing, sad, negative. So yeah, I do have something to say about blue lights.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Let me know. I guess a letter written. I put a coming soon for a couple of things that I'm currently planning. I'll let everybody know when I plan on doing this, and let me know if you need more than 10 minutes, because I could do like a series of two people speaking for the hour, each one getting half an hour, or if you need a whole hour, I'll give you a whole hour, and let's really look at this mystery from a lot of different angles. And again, I wish we had more time. I look forward to these conversations a great deal, and I'm greatly honored that everybody's here. And I learned a lot, and my heart sings that I've gotten the chance to interact with all of you. So how can people find you? Tim, how can people find you and enter your universe?
Sure. Well, probably the easiest way right now would be to find my books, which would be on Amazon.com. Just type in my name, Tim R. Swartz, and they'll all come tumbling out for your reading pleasure, both as print and ebooks. You can also find some, hopefully, at your favorite local bookstore or library. And if you can't find them, then demand them. Go up to the front desk and then tell them that you want to see books by Tim R. Swartz. Our most recent book is called Weird Time, Exploring the Mysteries of Time and Space. And Hercules and Paul both have chapters in this book. So I highly recommend that everyone go out and and Michael too. Sorry, Michael. Michael has a chapter
No worries.
in this book. So this book, I mean, we have a lot of contributions. Hercules, Paul, Michael, Sean Castile, Scott Corrales, Diane Testman, just some really excellent writers for this book. And if you want to find out more about it, you can visit its website, which is called weirdtimebook.com.
Thank you so very much. And Paul, how can people find you and follow your many adventures?
The easiest way is just to Google my name, Paul Dale Roberts, or Paul Dale Roberts Books. And I do have some books out there. Plus, my books are connected. Well, some of my articles are in some of Tim's books. And what's kind of interesting about that is I had this one person who was doing some research, and he Googled my name, and he put Paul Dale Roberts Books, and he goes, "Who's Tim R. Swartz?" He says, "I keep on getting Tim R. Swartz." So we're connected to the hip. If you Google my name, you're going to find Tim. So, so anyway, but yeah, I'm easy to find. You'll find my articles. I write for Costa Rica Times, Phenomena Magazine, Paranormal Underground Magazine, and Outer Limits Magazine. So I write for those three magazines, Costa Rica Times, and so I'm easy to find.
Awesome. And anything new and exciting on the horizon aside from the new book for Tim Swartz?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, thank you so very much. And Mark and maybe Phyllis, how can people enter your world? You're very accessible also, and you're working on some big major projects.
Yeah. Yeah. Also talking about other things that are going to be coming up to our planet Earth soon. Med beds, they talk about them now, but in space we call them something else. And that's how I got that in my head too when I was in space back in I was 18. So we have this new technology that's been released to come to planet Earth, brought in by some of the space people that we know. But I'll get into things like that. That's coming for the future. So you can find us on intergalacticmission.com. That's our main website. etuniversalzone.com. And Facebook is Marc Brinkerhoff. And also YouTube's is Marc Brinkerhoff. We have channels. So if you go to the website, you'll find the channel links.
And you're also working on releasing a few books. Do you care to share information on that, or is it too soon?
Oh yeah, we have a few. Again, stress on this planet, but we have messages from Senenda. We're going to be putting that out first. We'll have some of the universal symbols there from the high ships that I brought in. I was allowed to bring back. Also, we have a nature spirit book we're working on, and I got drawings and we got photographs, and we have other books, but we've pushed them back for now. These are the first two we want to get out. They're not like biographies or anything, but I'll talk about things that have happened in our nature spirit book. It's constantly happening here, constantly. It's something. You know what they're doing now? We have lights on the little plants, those little battery operated lights you have to click switches on.
Right.
They're putting them on when we're not around. You come home and they're on. And then one time we were doing something else. So he said, well, I got to go put the lights off. I come back in, all the lights are off. They've put them off. So they have a way to play that game with us.
Yeah, they do that, and they also hide things that are
Oh, yeah. Oh, they won't hide anything. But if you have that problem, talk to them. They will look at things. So what you do is give them in their plants shiny pennies or shiny dimes, something that's really beautiful like that, or little fake little gems. I give them things like that, and you go back, they're gone. They're not in the plant anymore. They take them to their side. They take them over. But they will point out if things are missing. Like suppose your dog or a cat took something. Anybody has a dog or a cat likes to knock things around. The cats, what happened to us here too, one time Phyllis was missing her hairbrush, and I didn't know. So I went back in where our plants are, and one of the elves says, well, the kitten pushed it off of a fax, whatever the machine we have, a printer, and it fell down. So I had to get a flashlight and went looking in the dark corners, and there was the brush at the bottom. So they will help with that when you got something missing if they didn't take it.
And I wish I could spin off into a story here, but we don't have time. Thank
Why
you.
don't we do a show like that? That would be so much fun. Everybody loves nature spirits.
Definitely do a show like that. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, they're fun.
Setna of Khemet, who's now in Georgia, in Savannah, Georgia. How can people enter your universe?
Very simple, either on Instagram or Facebook, Michael K. Waterman, or for the Tarot Temple, also again on either Facebook or Instagram. You can get me on my phone, 516-650-3691, or you can reach me in email if you wish, if that's your chosen way to do it, which is mkwaterman@icloud.com. There are other ways, but this is, I don't want to take any more time from anyone else.
Well, thank you very much. And you're also working on Tim Swartz's new book.
Yes.
Really looking forward to that book being published, Tim. And last but not least, the Dunkins. How can people enter your universe? And you have a new and exciting thing in your world too. You have a book that you're working on that's coming out, and you have another book that is almost totally written.
Yes. Hey, thanks, guys. It's really wonderful to be with you all tonight. And Diane really appreciates Hercules giving us the opportunity to talk about our new projects and things that are happening with us. It's interesting, she talked about some new friends that have been, coming to our home and living with us. We've had the gods in the past and who are still with us, but it's kind of a new phase for us, a new ministry with these angels that are coming to us, and plugging into a group of angels called the League of Azure Blue Angels. And the book that I'm writing right now is called The League of Azure Blue Angels, and it's kind of autobiographical in a way. It talks about my life and my journey on my way to angelhood. And of course, Diana's in there also. So it's probably, we're looking at about April or May for that to be published. And we thank Hercules for taking a look at it for us. We also have a YouTube channel. We have 130 videos on our YouTube channel. It's Michael and Diane with 2 N's, last name Dunkin, Dunkin. And we have over 130 videos where we have celestial team meetings where we're talking to Lord Maitreya, we're talking to Zeus and Hera, and we're talking to a lot of other different celestials, and they talk back to us. And we also have some of our artwork and songs on our YouTube channel. But I have a music degree from UC Irvine, and I've been a music teacher and music director in churches and things. But I'm also a singer-songwriter. I have 5 albums and an EP, and you can find those on Amazon Music, iTunes, Spotify. You just search my name, Reverend Michael Dunkin, and you will see those. But if you'd like to email us, it's michaeldunkin1@hotmail.com. And Hercules, thank you so much again. It's a real pleasure to reconnect.
And thank you for reconnecting. I've missed our conversations and I'm glad that they'll be continuing. And all of you, I wish you great success in all your endeavors. And I'm looking forward already to our next conversation.
Thank
All
you,
right, thank you,
Hercules.
Hercules.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hercules.
Good night,
God
everyone.
bless everyone.
God
Good
bless you.
night, all.
Blessings.
Good night.